Captain's Log, Stardate 20169.7. The Enterprise is headed back to Earth after a 3-month survey mission of the Star Trek films. But I still have one movie left to watch, so I've requested time in stellar cartography to take advantage of its big screen. Computer, I'd like to watch Star Trek.
Program loaded and ready.
On screen.
I have their surgeon's log, Captain.
Oh wait, no, wrong Star Trek.
Specify parameters.
The movie.
Altering search parameters.
Engineering, stand by for warp drive.
No, we reviewed this already. Show me the newer Star Trek.
We're talking about restoring the past.
Okay, clearly you don't understand me at all.
That is not a valid question.
Show me the one from Stardate 20095.1. Now that we know what you think, let's give Star Trek a spin on the radio. No, not my review, the film itself, with all the lens flares. Come on.
That program is not available.
Oh, for Cochrane's sake, can you do anything right?
Please do not address this unit in that manner.
Did you start the damn show already, huh?
Give me one reason why I should listen to you.
I can give you 100. Close enough. Because this is Movie Night! Hello and welcome to Movie Night. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Tonight, after many delays, we'll finally be reviewing and re-reviewing the 3 reboots in our 3rd episode dedicated to the Star Trek film franchise. So let's begin with my completely updated thoughts on Star Trek. An explosive reimagining of the future. This simplistically and perhaps confusingly titled science fiction action film from acclaimed director J.J. Abrams was released in May of 2009 and would be the first canonical entry for the franchise since the TV series Enterprise went off the air 4 years prior. Its $385 million box office cume against a $150 million budget was instrumental in reinvigorating the dormant sci-fi series. The ambitious 2-hour and 7-minute narrative is one of the first films to pioneer the concept of what I like to call a requel, movies which reboot their story and actors by way of an in-universe explanation. So while there is some continuing continuity from the so-called Prime timeline, this PG-13 rated movie essentially gave the Trek franchise a bold new start. A group of young and undisciplined Starfleet officers must overcome their interpersonal conflicts and take command of the Enterprise to defeat a time-traveling Romulan seeking to destroy entire planets. This impeccably cast collection of attractive and resourceful officers are dead ringers for their original series counterparts, each actor doing a phenomenal job maintaining the developed characteristics of their namesakes while still infusing some of their own unique personality into the role. This talented ensemble are led by Chris Pine as Kirk and Zachary Quinto as Spock, who share amazing, albeit often adversarial, chemistry. This is not the hunky-dory utopia Gene Roddenberry cooked up in the late 60s, but a contentious relationship born from tragic circumstances. But they're so fantastic, arguing with and later respecting each other, that they're, dare I say, more compelling than William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy ever were. Attempting to rationalize the temporal mystery before them, Quinto logically posits, if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. A famous Sherlock Holmes line that immediately invokes Star Trek's ambitious storytelling roots. Earlier, Kirk's uniquely inventive solution to the famed Kobayashi-Maru test, which challenges Starfleet cadets in a no-win scenario, allows Pine to flex his arrogance in a truly amusing and great character-building scene.
Our ship is being hit. Shields at 60%.
I understand.
Well, should we, fire back?
No.
Of course not.
What is this? What's going on?
Armed photons, prepare to fire on the Klingon warbirds.
Yes, sir. Jim, their shields are still up.
Are they?
No, they're not.
Karl Urban is perfectly sarcastic as grumpy Dr. McCoy, Zoe Saldana is sexy and authoritative as Uhura, Anton Yelchin is charming with his fake Russian accent as Chekhov, John Cho has a steadfast calm to his portrayal of Sulu, while Simon Pegg provides excellent comic relief as the plucky engineer Scotty. Elsewhere we have the distinguished Bruce Greenwood, Ben Cross and Winona Ryder as Spock's parents, Eric Bana as the Romulan foe, who portrays the violent antagonist like an impatient, petulant child, while Chris Hemsworth, in his feature debut, provides emotional resonance to a thrilling prologue. And last but not least, 78-year-old Nimoy appears in a small but extremely crucial role, giving the film much-needed continuity and authenticity, while doling out plenty of complicated exposition. His screen time may be brief, but the veteran actor brings so much weight and presence to the character, it instantly elevates the rest of the story to a better level. Unlike the static and conventional filming style of its predecessors, the cinematography here is extremely kinetic. Everything and everyone is constantly in motion. Speaking of which, the visual style used for jumping to warp seems to differ in every movie, but the bullet-like iteration here is definitely my favorite, and certainly the most satisfying sound effect. Now, much has been said about the lens flares in this film, and deservedly so. In moderation, the stylistic choice is a sleek-looking way to create dynamic movement within the anamorphic frame. But in larger, almost overbearing doses, like JJ applies here, the result is a distracting overkill. It's honestly quite obnoxious, but fortunately Abrams heeded the feedback and drastically reduced its usage in the sequel. Otherwise, the visuals and aesthetics here are stupendous. From the modernized interiors of the famous starship to the updated uniforms, everything looks futuristic and flashy, but still familiar enough for old fans to recognize. After iconic work from Jerry Goldsmith and James Horner, the yet unproven Michael Giacchino had his work cut out for him, but his score here is a remarkable blend of classic Trek themes with inspiring crescendos of quick strings and heavy drums. The 44-minute album is one of my favorite scores of the 21st century. It's an audacious effort that invokes memories of the sweeping, strings-heavy scores of the 70s and 80s. The film also won an Academy Award for Best Makeup, making it the only movie in the 13-picture series that took home an Oscar. The subtlety and intellect commonplace with the movie's namesake is stripped away in favor of appealing to a mainstream audience. So while more stringent fans might be at odds with the action-heavy approach or some of the creative liberties taken with the characters' relationships, Star Trek succeeds thanks to its outstanding action and fascinating story. A fast-paced and enjoyable adventure with familiar characters, this is one of the few odd-numbered Trek films worth watching again and again. Now let's see what you had to say about it. This movie really has everything you'd want in a big-budget summer blockbuster, and we both agreed it's an awesome movie. And now, a quick promotion for tonight's sponsor. When I'm not at my local theater, I watch nearly every movie I see at home on my giant 8-foot projection screen. And for those who wish to enhance their own viewing experience the same way, the portable GM60 LED projector from Brand LaFun is an affordable and travel-friendly solution. Great for your man cave, backyard film parties, or some late-night gaming. With 1,000 lumens of brightness and ample codec support for all types of media, LaFun's portable video projector is a great low-budget product, so check it out at the link below. These quick promotions help make movie night possible, so thank you for listening. Now for a heavily reworked version of my original Star Trek Into Darkness review. A fatal flaw prevents perfection. Released worldwide in May of 2013, this $185 million science fiction action film, the 12th entry in the illustrious Star Trek franchise, took home nearly $470 million. Helmed by returning director J.J. Abrams, this PG-13 rated space adventure is an effective blend of everything we go to the movies for: action, humor, visuals, and story, and Into Darkness is a tremendously enjoyable time because of it. We rejoin the crew of the Enterprise in the middle of a precarious away mission as they frantically attempt to save a primitive planet from a deadly volcano. This fantastic cold open is a perfect encapsulation of entertaining cinema. When I hook up a new TV for the first time, this is the Blu-ray I pop in to test the colors and sound, but I always get distracted by the adventure itself. Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Karl Urban, John Cho, Simon Pegg, Anton Yelchin, and Bruce Greenwood all return to the roles they were so perfectly cast in for 2009 Star Trek. Thankfully, every player's unique and often amusing personality quirks are able to shine in the 133-minute film. This is especially true for Pine and Quinto, whom once again showcase impeccable and believable chemistry. Facing insurmountable stakes, Pine confesses to his Vulcan first officer, "I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do." This is a more vulnerable version of Kirk than we've ever seen before, and he's far more compelling as a result. Despite having only one other film under their belt, it's honestly hard not to have an emotional connection to these well-defined characters. Joining the group is Alice Eve as a sexy science officer, ostensibly introduced as eye candy but provocatively featured for only a mere second. Peter Robocop Weller as a Federation admiral whose curious motivation and unenthusiastic delivery make him mostly an afterthought, and Benedict Cumberbatch, who positively steals the show as the enigmatic John Harrison, a fiercely intelligent, well-spoken, and cutthroat adversary who challenges our heroes to their deadliest showdown yet. When he taunts the Enterprise crew by maniacally asking, "Shall we begin?" the tension and anxiety are ramped up considerably. To explain, or perhaps appropriately complain, about my biggest gripe with the 12th Star Trek film, I must spoil a major twist. Cumberbatch is fantastic as the bad guy, but he turns out to be a very familiar villain, Khan Noonien Singh. the augmented superhuman originally portrayed by Ricardo Montalban in the original TV show and the second feature film. As I've strongly argued before, outside media and source material should never be used as a comparison or exposition. In other words, if I have to read a book to understand a movie, the movie is poorly written. Unless it's a direct sequel, each film should stand on its own. So when Cumberbatch dramatically reveals his true identity to be Khan, it's a completely meaningless moment. Through the single film prism, this major plot twist makes absolutely no sense and has zero impact on the story itself. In this rebooted Kelvin timeline, Kirk and Khan have no history together, let alone an adversarial relationship. The only in-universe purpose for this name switch is to shoehorn in a Skype call from Leonard Nimoy. The all-too-brief appearance from the aging actor, functioning merely as an expositional mouthpiece, only cheapens the wonderful integration his Spock Prime character had in the previous film. Realistically, the only thing either of these scenes accomplish is highlighting the drastic alterations to Khan's appearance and continuity. Even worse, Nimoy's quick cameo would be his last acting credit before his death. And what's more upsetting is how easily fixable these mistakes are. Keep Cumberbatch as a new villain, and remove Nimoy's part completely. Without the shameless fan service that drastically retcons a classic character, the movie is an unqualified success. That gigantic and inescapable mistake notwithstanding, Into Darkness effortlessly slides from lighthearted action to its dramatic conclusion with breakneck pacing. Michael Giacchino's wonderful score provides a deep backbone. The sharp and witty writing help keep the material accessible to all audiences. ILM's incredible visual effects sell the futuristic and exotic settings, while Easter eggs give throwback glimpses to past entries in the series. Although it relies a bit too heavily on tired ticking clock mechanisms to maintain tension, a hectic space jump sequence that sees Pine slaloming between space debris is undeniably thrilling, especially the way it finishes.
Mr. Scott, where are you?
6.
1,800 meters.
5.
1,600 meters.
Scotty, where are you?
3.
Do you copy? Scotty, please!
2.
Sorry about this. No way.
Mr. Scott, open the door.
Open the door!
Mr. Scott, now!
Welcome aboard.
But the final moments of the movie are gripping, emotional, and wonderful to watch unfold, as the picture plays homage to the original series. Sure, there are a myriad of plot holes and scientific conveniences, but if you're able to overlook the ways it dishonors its namesake, it's actually a thoroughly entertaining film on many viewings. Perhaps the franchise's strongest entry yet, Star Trek Into Darkness is a gripping adventure with blockbuster thrills and laughs. Now let's hear what you had to say in the YouTube comments. Critical of the rehashed elements central to the plot, the movie night audience was very undecided on this picture, with your scores averaging to a 7 out of 10. If not for the foolishly pointless twist, this movie becomes one of my favorite sci-fi action movies. But they screwed it up, so while it's still supremely entertaining, I can only rate this an awesome. Well, you just heard what I think is the best Star Trek film, but for tonight's poll question, what's yours? Leave your response as a comment below. Finally tonight, my review of Star Trek Beyond. Classic futurism. The 13th entry in the Star Trek film franchise, and third in the newer requel series, this sci-fi adventure was released in July of 2016, just weeks shy of the franchise's 50th anniversary. Although well received, the $185 million effort only earned back $333 million, which Paramount viewed as a disappointment. After making a name for himself in the Fast and Furious franchise, director Justin Lin takes over the reins from J.J. Abrams, who stayed on as producer, and really captures the spirit and pathos of what Star Trek is all about. This is largely thanks to the excellent script penned by series regular Simon Pegg and Doug Jung. 966 days into their 5-year mission, the crew of the USS Enterprise encounters a ruthless enemy who strands them on a dangerous planet. As Captain Kirk and Commander Spock, Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto lead the ensemble with ease. Returning alongside them is Karl Urban, Simon Pegg, Zoe Saldana, John Cho, and Anton Yelchin. It's only the group's third outing together, but their relationship and history feel as real and as lived in as if they'd done 7 seasons of TV together.
Of course I care, Leonard. I always assumed my respect for you was clear. The dialogue we have had across the years has always...
It's okay, Spock. You don't have to say it. Well, at least I won't die alone. Well, that's just typical.
Trying to inspire hope amongst his defeated crew, Pine reminds everyone, there's no such thing as the unknown, only the temporarily hidden. An inspirational, if semantic, outlook. Fellow crewmate Alice Eve is nowhere to be found and her absence is sadly unexplained, but new for this installment is Sofia Boutella as a feisty alien scavenger inspired by Jennifer Lawrence, and the always formidable Idris Elba as a mutated villain hell-bent on revenge against the Federation. The PG-13 rated film is littered with wonderful references to earlier versions of Trek, like Pine lamenting during his opening captain's log narration that their journey started to feel a little episodic. After returning from an away mission gone wrong, he later complains he ripped his shirt again, a hilarious nod to William Shatner's constant wardrobe malfunctions. Plus, a large portion of the picture revolves around an older NX-class starship, which fans will recognize from the Enterprise TV show. An early visit to Starbase Yorktown is worth the price of admission alone, an awe-inspiring display of visual effects and inventive designs, beautifully rendering humanity's possibilities. I wanted to spend the entire 122-minute runtime just exploring this giant, complex city in space. Series creator Gene Roddenberry would be proud. Later, Kirk and company find themselves marooned on a strange alien world, which is as gorgeous as it is exotic. Couple that with the stylish new uniforms and jackets everyone is wearing, and someone in Bad Robot's art department needs to be nominated for an Oscar. The art direction and set design in Star Trek Beyond is phenomenal. Besides the predictably excellent work from composer Michael Giacchino, the crew's final defiant stand against Elba incorporates the classical sounds of the Beastie Boys' Sabotage, with absolutely incredible results. If you're not smiling ear to ear during this scene, then movies just aren't your thing. The passing of the late great Leonard Nimoy is touchingly addressed within the film, with Quinto reflecting on the death of his character's older counterpart. It's a small tangential moment, but an undeniably powerful one. Beyond also has the unfortunate distinction of being released just weeks after the tragic and untimely death of the young Yelchin. He was a rising talent with undeniable charm, and I'm deeply saddened his life was cut so short. Both him and Nimoy are briefly honored with the dedication of the credits. Although it mayn't do enough to truly stand out, this is one movie worth seeing again and again, especially for fans. Capturing Roddenberry's optimism better than ever before, Star Trek Beyond is a tremendously fun experience, presented with dazzling visuals and a few poignant moments of reflection. And here's what you thought about it. You saw this as an improvement over Enter Darkness, calling it a great film. Much like its rebooted counterparts, I think it's an awesome movie myself. Before we go, a big thank you to my producer-level supporters on Patreon: Joshua Moran, Simon Juarez, Eric Jones, Scott Sullivan, Kenny Van Gorder, Daniel Epps, and Kevin Martin. And by the way, I owe you and the other 72 patrons another episode of my podcast series, so keep an ear open for that later this week. And for those who haven't pledged your support yet, consider visiting patreon.com/JohnPaula and becoming a patron. The financial support from viewers like you helps make Movie Night possible, so thank you very much. Unfortunately, that does it for tonight's episode, but here's what we'll be discussing next time if you'd like to leave a comment review. And if you click this information icon, you can watch some related videos. Once again, my name is Jonathan Paula. Thank you for watching, and have a good movie night.